Welcome to Thursday Night Knives. I'm Bob DeMarco. Coming up, RJ Martin and Shira Goroff team up again for another gorgeous knife. My turn and burn blade show plans. I will share those with you. And then we're going to talk favorite fidget knives. I mean, we can talk that all night long. I pulled out a bunch, and as I did, I started to find that the category of favorite fidget knife isn't maybe as obvious as one might think. I mean, I even have a lock back in there. So it's not just about fall shut frame locks. We're going to take a look at those later. And, well, I want to know what you think about that. Also, a little impromptu knife giveaway thanks to this guy right here, Dave, This Old Sword Blade Reviews. Hey, Dave, how's it going? He says, evening, Bob, and blade junkies everywhere. Dave, you sent this one my way some time ago, and I really like it. And it's really time for someone else to have this knife because it's ready to use. It is super sharp and incredibly robust. It's the Sativian St115. Hey, Chris, how's it going? We have Blade Ogre with us here. I'll put this under the knife cam and you can check this sucker out. Blade Boy, how's it going? Blade Boy, will it be you? We're just going to do a random drawing. All you'll have to do is put in hashtag knife in the comments and you will be in the automatic drawing for this knife. Never Enough Knives 007. Good to see you. Happy Thursday, junkies, he says. Happy Thursday to you, sir. A very handsome knife with this dark stone-washed D2 blade. Pretty stout blade, and some might say thick behind the edge geometry there. Actually, it is pretty thin. It's pretty thin. And I know it's very sharp, and you can cut very nice S's in paper with this sucker. Copier paper. Ketmuk, how's it going? Ketmuk Neshard. Howdy, Bob and Jim, he says. And junkies, good to have you here. This thing is really comfortable in hand, very sharp, and kind of, it's got a little bit of that aggressive factor that I like a lot. On bearings, very smooth, etc. Jay McConnell, evening all, he says. Jay, good to have you here, sir. Yeah. Hashtag knife, and it could be yours. I'm sure Jim will have to remind me at some point. Byron, good to have you here as always. Byron Kennedy, what are you carrying tonight, Byron? Let me know. He says, happy Thursday Night Knives. And I will let you know what I am carrying. And today was an interesting and odd carry for me. I didn't have the usual suspects on me. Pixel Jedi, how's it going, sir? Good evening, sir and sirs and ladies. Yes, indeed. To you ladies as well. 9198 David, evening knife enthusiast, he says. Well, good evening to you, sir. Always a pleasure. Byron says, kudos, Toe Saber Dave. This old sword. Okay, Toe Saber. That kind of works. Toe Saber. But that's This Old Sword Blade Reviews, of course. Hero Sticks, good to see you here, Hero. Evening and cheers, everybody, he says. Hero, if you're just joining us, we're giving away this cool Sativian ST 115 tonight. Really catchy name. I'd call it something else. Let's think of what we would call this if we were Sativian and we were to name that. Michael Morgan says, evening, Bob and Jim. Michael, good to have you here. And here, have this out. That's your avatar, and except in the blacked out version. This is one of my favorite fidget knives. It's the Yo Jumbo. And just the size of that blade makes the compression lock even more compelling to overuse. Blade Boy says, hashtag knives. Damn, I think it's hashtag knife. Is that right, Jim? Damn, I don't know if I can wait to see if it's going to be me or not. I may just have to run off site real quick, but buy one of those. And buy one of those. Damn good looking. Well, Blade Boy, I believe even if you're not here, if you're chosen, I'll still send it to you. I'm not going to be like, I'm not going to not send it to you, right? Max the Maker, good to see you here, Max. How's the old Eldris doing, sir? He says, hi. Caleb Townsend, howdy. Caleb won the Gentleman Junkie Knife giveaway last week. His Bowie, or not Bowie, his BOA and little titanium toothpick are on the way. Giveaway package arrived today. Thanks much, he says. Caleb, you're welcome, sir. Thank you is what should be being said. Thank you, sir. James Moore, good to have you here, James. Hey, everyone. Got a great fidget night with me. The Snex Vision R, number 22 of 32. That is cool. That is so cool. I watched that come together I guess I've watched two different knives of his come together through years of research. The first one he did a lot more documenting, and man, we have an incredible audience here. James has one of those, and I think that's super cool. Hey guys, we have Ezekiel and Jonathan, Shredder Knife Reviews. Good to have you guys here. Good evening, all. Guys, I have been just on a serious off-grid phase, wondering if you guys are digging the new off-grids. I know you are. I'm sure you are. Byron says, Bob, I'm going with the Sativian Quasimodo. Very nice. Quasimodo, like Quasimodo was the hunchback, right, of Notre Dame. Pixel Jedi says Kaiser Genie. Wait. But wait, I don't know what that knife is. I have to find out, because that's a pretty damn cool name for a knife, the Quasimodo. Unless you're making that up. I can be gullible. Pixel Jedi says the Kaiser Genie, that's a cool one, in N690 in micarta is my favorite fidget blade and zip tie popper. Oh, very nice. It's funny you should say that, because this Kaiser Pelican, designed by K. Maxstrom, with the same thing. It's got that N690 blade steel and black micarta. It's kind of the same, different design, kind of same setup. This is one of my favorite fidget knives. It's got a very stout, almost annoyingly stout detent. It's hard for my left hand, actually, but it's very gratifying when you break that stout detent and it goes flying open. Plus, it just will guillotine. It's a very nice free dropper, and you can Spidey flick it. So I'm with you. This was one of my one of the knives I pulled out to show as favorites. Okay, so oh yeah, well, this is an interesting thing. Miss a past Thursday Night Knives? Watch replays at thenifejunkie.com/Thursday, unless you want to watch last week's show, because for some reason last week's show was deemed a community guideline, community rules violation from YouTube, and they made it private, and I can't unprivate it, and no one can watch it. So it's as if it never happened, and they won't. They I guess they're too busy to let me know why. Okay. All right. So we are now talking about hashtag knife. It's hashtag knife. And we're good to go now. Oh, it's public now. Oh, cool, Jim. I didn't notice that, because I was. All right. So Jim just let me know in the chat that the video is now public. So if you missed last week's Thursday Night Knives, you can see it again. It's funny. I wrote a little thing to them, just in a little comment thing, and maybe they had a chance to look at it and deemed that it was fine. That's cool. As of this afternoon, it was still locked. So that's great news. Thank you, Jim. Grim Reaper, good to have you here. It's kind of funny saying that, but I will say it anyway, sir. Any fan of Thursday Night Knives, I'm a fan of. Good evening, Bob and Jim, he says. Good evening, Grim Reaper. Dion Page, hello, Dion. Good to have you here. Hello, knife friends, he says. Hello, Dion. What's your favorite? Well, actually, before we get to your favorite fidget knife, let's do a little pocket check and find out what everyone was carrying. And I'm going to take this Sativian off screen for a moment. This very cool Sativian. Favorite fidget knife is the Kaiser Begleiter XL White Mountain Knives exclusive. Oh, that's cool. That's the one with the old button lock and that beautiful almost spear point blade. It's such a nice knife, and he loaned me that very same knife for a short while, and man, I loved it. Very cool knife. Can't wait till they come back out with that at White Mountain Knives. That seemed to sell out very quickly, or at least I was sitting on the fence too long, and by the time I wanted to buy it, it was already gone. Okay, today, what did I carry? I had a weird carry today. Usually I do, three knives or so, and there's oftentimes a slip joint, especially in these days of the Jack Wolf knives. But I did not carry this today. I also did not carry a fixed blade besides my CRKT Minimalist around my neck, but I did carry the SOCOM Bravo, the Reich Knives made SOCOM Bravo by Microtech. Very, very cool knife. this is one of those knives I was really, really excited to get, and I got it, and I love it. But it was one of those knives where my excitement for it was greater than the enjoyment I got immediately from having it. This is a knife that I'm going to enjoy having for many years. I don't know if that makes sense to you. I mean, I do love aspects. I love everything about this knife, actually, even the carbon fiber. But I don't carry it every single day. Actually, I do not love the pocket clip. Just how it interfaces with my pants. Not crazy about that. But okay, so I had the SOCOM Bravo today, and I wonder if some of that attitude has anything to do with the fact that it's Chinese. And I don't think it does, because they were open about it. There is the other knife that I've been sort of obsessed with recently that's also on my fidget list, the Gooseworks folder, Mekong Delta Combat folder by Resco Instruments, which I originally thought was American made, and then turns out is from Bestech. Well, I got to say, Bestech, man, it's really cool to know that not only are they extremely adept at building bearing flippers that have incredible action, incredible smooth, droppy action, they can also make a washer knife to beat the band. I mean, this thing is awesome. I do love this knife. And yes, like I said last time, some of the mystique for it was removed when I found out it wasn't made by some grizzled, calloused fingered Navy SEAL in some garage in North Carolina. But it was probably designed by that guy. If you read the Resco Instruments watch website. So anyway, I wonder if some of the mystique in this is maybe not there for a similar reason. Whatever. It's a great knife. I love it. It's super sharp. It's extremely stylish. Feels great in hand. Has an awesome forward jimped inverse thumb ramp, which I love. And it's a beauty. It's a beauty to look at. It's also fun to fidget with because of that amazing action and the heavy blade. The second knife I had on me today, oddly enough, was a large size flipper. I had the full size flipper. I had the Preda 2 on me, the Concept Preda 2 by K Max Rom. I really love this knife. I love this design. I have the titanium handled one with the Tonto blade. I carry that less than I carry this. But one thing I do carry this one. I feel I can use all of the opening methods much better with the liner lock, including the slow roll on the thumb stud. One thing I have discovered in carrying this knife a bit is this. I love that with the fuller, you can reverse, you can flick it the way you do this way to open the blade. But if you want to open it this way, that fuller allows you to do it. Whereas if you have a Spidey hole or just a thumb stud and you're flicking it open and you don't have the fuller, it's not very easy to do that unless you use a different finger or kind of hold the knife in a less comfortable way. Anyway, I had this one on me purely for fidget today. Ended up using it at lunchtime. I did not use the SOCOM, but just a beautiful knife. And two clip points today. 2 clip points, which was 3 clip points, my minimalist. And that's what I carried today. An odd carry for me. Generally, I like to cover different bases and not do 2 full-size clip point or 2 full-size anything of the same blade shape. You know, that's actually making me nervous and feel guilty because I'm breaking one of my rules that I bust everyone else's chops for. So there you go. That's what I was carrying today. What did you guys have on you? Let me know. This is one of my ways of figuring out what I need to get, what I want to get. When I saw this come out, and friends like Dave get his and others, I just, for some reason, I just could not get my hands on one until the second run. And well, I'm glad I did. Yeah, let me know what you were carrying. And I will fill you in on some details too. Michael says, fidget faves, the Beglighter XL, the Conspirator, also a button lock, The Towser K, I got that one out. That's a great one. The Towser K, the Shaman. I keep thinking I need to get a Shaman. And the Hogue EX01, yes, and the 940. Okay, so you're kind of doing it the way I was looking at it. You're covering a lot of different locks, and different lock types. This one is the Towser K is just insane. By the way, Blade Stuff, good to have you here, Blade Stuff. Good evening, Bob, Jim, and fellow knife lovers. Well, here we are. We're talking pocket check, and we're talking favorite fidget knives. We had a few issues with YouTube. They've taken 3 of our videos down. They put them back up eventually, though. Well, that's good to hear. I mean, I don't know what it is, and sometimes I think just my name, Knife and Junkie in one name. Maybe it sets off bells. Who knows? Dave carried the. Oh my God, Dave! Thank God this is a mini. Because I would be morally obligated to get this because I love the Crossroads design. I love Kirby Lambert's designs, period. But I love that Crossroads design. And I sold mine. I had one and foolishly I sold it. And I wish I didn't do that. And then when I saw these mini Crossroads, I was just like, oh, it's a good thing. It's a good thing. So you carry but with the double inlays. Looks so cool. Carried the Riot Mini Crossroad in M390, titanium inlaid black micarta, designed by Kirby Lambert. Floating backspacer is zirconium. That's so cool. Also, newly released CJRB Ruffian, the Ruffian Warncliffe. Yeah, you put these both up on Instagram today. They were good little eye candy breaks for me. I like that Ruffian. It's another cool looking little warnie from Dirk Pinkerton. So parched. Dan Satermo, good to have you here, sir. Thanks for being a fan, Bob. Appreciate it. Well, it's my pleasure, sir. It is my pleasure. Mike Flamian, this week's carry Rockstead. I need to experience a Rockstead. Maybe this year at Blade Show, I will see if I can get my hands on one just to feel it open and close. I have a feeling I would love the fidget factor of the Rockstead, kind of similar to what I appreciate about the Sabenza and that kind of knife action. Glassy. This week's carry, Rockstead Don ZDP fixed folding Rockstead Ren ZDP Spyderco Arc knife, neck knife, Victorinox Cadet on keys, never a dull moment. Okay, so your Rockstead Don, that's a very small one, right? Isn't the Don Don sounds like it should be much bigger, but isn't the Don the little neck knife, the little Kirby one, the trailing point? I'd be interested. So Mike was not carrying his Randall this week, his Model 14. Next time, you got to give those things a rest. Dion says, Recon 1 Tonto Castillo lockback Izula. Oh, okay. Recon 1 Tonto Castillo lockback Izula 2. Very nice. I like the look of that Izula. I was just talking about Randall made knives, and I have one close by, so I figured I'd pull it out. So cool. Garvey, good. Gary, good to have you here, sir. Hi, Bob. Native Chief in Rex 45 today. Okay, all right. That sounds sweet. I love the Native Chief. That's another one that I sold to get a different fix and then regretted. Grim Reaper says Camillus Tyrant fixed in D2. Also, Gerber Flatiron. Is that the newer Flatiron? And also, I don't know that fixed blade. But I like that you had it on you. Blade Stuff, Wee Subjugator. The Wee Subjugator. That's a good name. Microtech SOCOM Elite, one of my favorites, and the Victorinox Fieldmaster for me today. Very nice. The Wee Subjugator. The Wee Oppressor. N Conway, good to see you here, N. Spyderco Native 5 in crewware. Very nice. I have one crewware knife, and man, it's awesome. My wife loves this knife so much, I had to buy her the Spyderco Native 5 in the Stormtrooper colors from GP Knives. That's cool. Sounds like a cool wife and also a cool knife. What do you know? Caleb, good to see you again. Let's see. Today I had the Kirby Lambert snap. Oh, you guys. Okay, so I had 2 people with Kirby Lambert today, and I know Caleb, yours is a custom. Yeah, that guy, man, I really love his designs. And a Serge Panchenko mid-tech bean, very nice, and a custom Swiss Army knife. Very nice. Nice rounded out carry. Byron had an off-grid Cayman XL. Yes. And cheap Gerber Grills multi-tool. How is that? I mean, I think I know the answer. You said it is cheap, but those some of those Bear Grylls tools, they didn't end up being very good, did they? Today was the the Giant Mouse Grand Ace in Venatus. How do you say that? Venatus 4E. Jeez, man, does that come from outer space? And Burlap Micarta and the laid back Jack. Very nice. Laid back Jack, of course. But that Burlap Micarta, I'm a huge fan. And Venatus, I know I've heard of it, and I know it's got to be awesome. I just don't know anything about it. But very nice carry, sir. Big Perm carried the off-grid Cayman XL today. Okay, so we have a bunch of Cayman XL fans here. I have the XL and the EDC together. I love them together. They're cool. Big Perm carried his off-grid XL today. It's a steal at $80. I freaking love this knife. Me too. I think a lot of people have been excited about this release, and also the Enforcer XL Red Dawn. But by the way, they also have just come out with the little brother of the XL. I showed you that. This is just the Enforcer. It is awesome. I generally don't go in for the 3 1/4 inch knives. This one I love, kind of like the Ojimbo. I love that knife. This is kind of a similar thing, and they make this in the Red Dawn edition. I think that might be the next Gentleman Junkie knife giveaway, either the large or the small. I think more people will carry the small, so I might go with the small. Don't quote me on that, though. We do have an affiliate link, which I proudly show off. I love these knives so much, and I like Carrie, the designer. He's a great guy and has a great concept for this company. It's hard use, very well built, for a reasonable price, and that's what it is. Kind of in a sense, a similar spirit to Cold Steel, or at least part of Cold Steel's spirit. They also do some other stuff that's quite unique to their own brand. But Never Enough Knives 007 says the off-grid Rhino 2, awesome. I have the little, this one, Never Enough Knives 007. If you have not gotten the micro baby, I think they call it the baby Rhino, you have to. This thing is awesome. This is this pretty much never happens, but my wife was like, that is mine. So I have to get another one for me. This is hers, but this knife shrinks down to tiny so well. You got to check it out. So Never Enough Knives 007 had the off-grid knives version 2 Rhino, which I love. It's in 154 cm. That was my favorite large folder by Off-Grid Knives before the Cayman XL came out. And he also had the Cold Steel SR1. I love that knife. The JK Handmade Knives EDC Kephart. Very cool. It sounds very nice. I know JK Handmade Knives, but I can't think of the EDC Kephart. I can imagine what it looks like, and that it's very curvaceous. And Swiss Army Knife Tinker. Very nice. Look at it. All these off-grid knives. I just dig them. And by the way, they rank very high in my cardboard. I don't have a strict regime of cardboard testing, but anecdotally, I've taken a lot of knives out to cut up these giant packages or these giant boxes from IKEA. I brought them out with knives that I thought were going to do the job, with screaming, with blazing colors. And every time the off-grid knives are my favorite. They should make a large cleaver. They make the EDC cleaver, which is my absolute best cardboard knife, period. Folder edition. I think they should make a large one. That'd be cool. 9198 David says Spyderco Nirvana. Oh, that's so nice. That's a Recenti design. And the Prometheus Design Works Audax Auto on me today. Yes, David. Yes. We just talked about this on the show last week or 2 weeks ago. Love the look of that. It's kind of in the design language of the what is that knife, the handle with the fluting and all of that, but it's got that beautiful clip point blade. Very nice snag with that Audax. Max the Maker says the only Mora knife I have is the Mora knife companion heavy duty MG carbon steel. I've never had an Eldris. Oh, I'm sorry, for some reason I thought you did. My apologies. I hear they're great. Blade Boy says, you'll never run out of fidget fun with the EMP EDC Nimble. Oh, no doubt. And I love the look of the Warncliffe Nimble. That one looks nice. Yeah. Kay Mason, good to see you here, Kay. Bob, Jim, and fellow Ike-Mo Maniacs. Spy 27 Para 3 lightweight today. Man, that's nice. Hashtag knife. So Kay Mason, just put an extra one in just with a hashtag knife. I think that'll make it easier to collate. I'm not sure, but just do that for giggles and grands. Blade Ogre says, carrying the Giant Mouse Ace Grand, very cool knife. The Protec Bren 3, ditto. The Hogue EX04. Oh, okay. You don't have to do that. You're fine. You don't have to do another comment with hashtag knife. You're good. Hogue EX04 Emperor Scorpion. That's a cool one. We had that here for a short while. The Spartan Palace, the SOG Seal XR Bowie. Nice knife. The LT Wright Bandit. Oh, a Boker Arbelito El Hero. As I go down the fixie rabbit hole. So if I'm right, this is it's a Bowie knife and it's got a curved handle, maybe even be made of horn. Am I thinking of the correct knife here? There are some really cool Boker Arbelitos, I think, right? Fixed blade Bowies and that kind of thing. Very nice carry, Chris. I think that was an 8 count day or a 7 count day at least. The 945 is a fantastic fidget for the digits, as is the 940. Both action kings. So Pixel Jedi, obviously you love the Axis lock by Benchmade. How do you like the Able lock by Hogue? That's advanced or ambidextrous bar lock enhanced. I love it. I think they do a great job with that kind of lock. Are you a devotee, or do you like all of these bar locks as they are coming out? Hero Stick says Pinkerton Smilodon, very nice, Carrie. CJRB Scoria, ditto, and Civivi Odium. I'm not sure which one that is, but I like the name Odium. Sounds very serious. Eld 66, good to see you. Oh, Monterey Bay Knives Turbo today. All right, so I will tell you this. The Turbo is on my list of favorite fidget knives. I will show you mine right now instead of waiting. Since you mentioned it, since you brought it up, let me show you this. This was modified by Richie and Lindy over at Knife Modders. And man, did they do a beautiful job. I wanted sort of high voltage green, something that reminds me a little bit of how bronze left outside patinas, you know. They did a beautiful job. They did an acid stone wash on the blade. They sharpened the blade on a wicked edge. And then the backspacer and pocket clip, they did this sort of space anodization that kind of looks like the view through the Hubble telescope a little bit. It's kind of hard to see. I need to Windex it, I think, to get it to pop again. But man, they did an awesome job. And this thing is just absolute butter. It is smooth as silk, drop shutty as the French Revolution. This thing is just awesome. Love it. And I love that you mentioned that you were carrying it today, because it's a great knife. And when I was going down, kind of looking through my knives for the ones whose action I love the most, ergo I fidget with the most, And that doesn't just mean drop shut. Some of them are not drop shut. This came to mind immediately. So cheers to you, sir. Monterey Bay Knives Turbo. All right. So, I forgot to mention one other thing I was carrying with me today. It was this, the Wingard Wearables Stingray Tomahawk. Now, I wasn't carrying it on my person, but it was in my backpack. And I had forgotten that it was in my backpack. I put it in there for a little hike we took this past weekend, and I just never cleared it out. And oftentimes I'll bring my backpack into work, not really need anything out of it except maybe keys in a little pocket, and forget what's in the main pocket. And then halfway through the day, I did dig through my bag, and boom, I was like, oh. And so I pulled it out and just set it on top of my bag in a locked cabinet. And I just felt great. I got to say, I felt great knowing I had this on me today. It's like a hole punch, this giant spike. It's great for throwing and sticking, but also it's just like a giant chisel tip. Look at that. Don't forget to give away the knife. See, that's what I got to do. That's what happens. But it's like this, man, just deadly hole punch with an amazing half moon blade with these sort of trailing edges here that make it easy to extract if you chop into something and go beyond the apices here. So you're not fighting the beard of an axe blade. It's just kind of slipping back out. So everything about this knife, and then how the axe head is hung on this hickory handle with all these flanges coming off the inside of this and creating grooves and everything. This thing is amazing. You got to check out Wingard Wearables. Zach Wingard has an amazing deep knowledge about tomahawks and how they were used by Native Americans and such, and he's made his own sort of modernized tweaks. And man, this one is awesome. It felt good knowing I had that with me, just in case. It's an unsecured building. Who knows? I might need it someday. Heaven forbid. Heaven forbid. Jonathan and Ezekiel Off-Grid Cayman XL and the Geotech 31 fixed blade. What's the Geotech? But that's like 3 Cayman XLs so far. And but I'm curious what that Geotech is. Michael Morgan, the Real Steel Terra in 14C28, and I like the look of that knife. Full flat grind and 11 to 12 thousandths behind the edge. Excellent slicer. Man, that is very thin. I need to start. Do I really? I was gonna say I need to start measuring with my calipers, but I don't. I don't need to start measuring with my calipers. I am not altogether certain that I would be that accurate. Carrying the Demco 8020 and S90V. Ooh, that's awesome, says Quack. Well, I say that to Quack. Very nice carry. Another interesting carry that you mentioned that, because that is also on my list of top fidgeters. I'm going to have to show you something that isn't drop shut to prove to you that, to me, fidget doesn't necessarily mean guillotine like. Hero Stick says fidgets chopped Spyderco smock. Oh yes. Oh, that thing is awesome. It's mocking me about 8 feet away. That thing is awesome. The 8020.5, the Brian Brown Jaeger M. Yeah. Oh, and the SO something obscene company J Cape, most definitely. Now I had a chance. You loaned me your J Cape, and I have your smock currently. I agree absolutely with the Shark Lock, and yeah, Brian Brown's Jaeger that I borrowed from him was just ultra smooth and so cool. Grim Reaper says this old sword tastes in knives is amazing. Yeah, man, his taste is amazing and his collection is amazing. And he's a great guy. His generosity is out of this world. Ket McNessart says, today I carried the LT Wright Knives Next Gen, a Bark River JX6. That's cool. A Buck 110 Slim Pro, something I would like to get in the collection. A laid back jack. Oh, yeah. And the Eldris. Okay, so I know Ketmuk frequently carries the Eldris. For some reason, I had it in my mind. Max did too. Yeah, it's going. It's going. On the Edge 72. Good to have you here on the Edge. Yo, junkies. Happy Thursday night knives. And he puts up the cornuto. Good to see you, sir. Sharp and Stabby says, good evening, all. I have my, your 2022 birthday knife. Happy birthday, Sharp and Stabby. I hope you've spoiled yourself rotten, and I hope the people in your life appreciate you. My awesome blade-friendly girlfriend, awesome, okay, got me that Fox Bastinelli Piemontes friction folder. Oh, very nice. Both are keepers. Yeah, no doubt, man. Nicely done. That's a nice gift. That's like elegant and cool and gentlemanly, and that's a great knife for a woman to get her man. I love that. Maybe I shall drop that hint someday. Caleb Townsend says, in my opinion, there is no better fidget knife than the Surge Hawk Orbit. Interesting. Does that use the backstrap lock like on the Buck thingamabob on the Buck? What is that Buck? You know, with the Hawk made lock on it. Eugene Krabs, good to have you here, Huge. I had a friend named Eugene in high school. We called him Huge. I won't presume to call you that, but Eugene, good to have you here. For fidgeting, love the Malibu. Oh, I bet. Mini Tempest, I bet, based on my experience with the Tempest, and the 80 20.5. Absolutely. Max, today I carried my MKM Isanzo, the Bally Yo pen. That's the Spyderco, right? The Right in the Rain notebook. Those are cool. Casino Royale. You'll have to explain that. The Swiss Army knife Huntsman, white handkerchief, very nice. Olight pre-run 2 flashlight. I like this handkerchief thing. I've been carrying a bandana in my back pocket for years because my dad did, especially when we were on road trips. That's where I saw it most, but on weekends from my dad. But I love these hanks, and we just talked to Chris Rossiter of Renegade EDC and Renegade Provisions Company, and he makes some really cool hanks. And I could see starting a little collection of those as my bandanas start to wear and die out. Microtech is releasing the Reich made Annex at Blade Show. If you love the Bravo, this one is even more over the top. The Annex, is that the Microtech Annex? Is that the, oh, my keyboard here won't work, so I can't do that. I think that's the one that's got the Warncliffe blade and a long opening hole. Is that right? Oh, that sounds good, because this is so good. This is so well produced. Though I got to say, I did watch Stasa's hard use review of this, and he said he wished he was left wishing they had a screw up at the very top where the blade tang kind of meets the body. But that's not a deal breaker for me, because me and hard using. On the Edge 72 says, today I carried my McNeese PM 3.5, very nice, blue and bronze atomic finish in Magna Slut. That's very nice. Very, very sounds sweet. Vanadize 4E is similar to 4V. Venatus, not Vanadize. Sorry. Venatus. Sounds like a venereal disease. Tim Simcoe says, I had a Victorinox Scientist for work and a Tonto PM2. Those are cool for home. In case the toaster starts acting sketchy. Oh, hey, man. I know the deal. You got to watch out. Smash that like button. That's right. If you're here, just do it. You'll love it. So look, we got 45 people watching right now, and we're giving away a knife. But we only have 15 people who've entered. If the other 30 hate this knife, then do not put in hashtag knife in the comment. But if you do want to just randomly win a D2 bladed Sativian with very smooth action, this is the ST115. in very nicely sculpted green G10 and very nice darkened D2 blade. By the way, this thing is very sharp, just on paper. That's all I'm not on paper, but in paper. Weston Probst, I'm sorry, you're sitting right there on screen. Hey man, how you doing? Glad to have you here. Next comment I want to see from you, sir, Mr. Probst, is #knife. So I can drop this in the mail to you in the next approximately 3 days, and it will be yours to do what thou wilt. To do with what thou wilt. This would make an excellent car knife. It is very robust, a very robust build. Not for the faint of heart in terms of pocket carry. It is. It's probably about 7. It's probably about 6 ounces. Not quite 7. It's not as heavy as my XM24s, but it's still pretty heavy. Michael Wolf says, even in all, just received my Preta 2 on Monday. Very nice. Which one did you get? This was in my waistband today, oddly enough. And I say that because I wasn't expecting to carry a folder in my waistband. But which Preta 2 did you get? There are what? 6 flavors now. 2 different micartas, 2 different blades, and a titanium. Right, 6. Right? Yeah. No. Yes. Brandon G. Today carried the Spyderco Military M390. Very nice. The Demco 8020.5 and the Razor's Edge Cutlery Q in crew wear. Very nice. And I didn't know they made the military in M390. I do love the military, though. Come on with that clip already. We have the technology, and we don't mind the extra 1/10 of an ounce. Grim Reaper says, I see many Spyderco natives in everyone's carry. So do I. Natives and shaman, they seem to love. I liked the native chief quite a bit. I would get that one again. The band Famous TM. Good to have you here. The band Famous TM. Kubi Shadow Crane. Very nice. Okay. All right. So, the band brings up something. He's talking about this Kubi. Oh, by the way, #knife. You're making me say the word hashtag too much. I'm too old to say hashtag. It's a pound symbol. Pound symbol. Hashtag. What am I? British? I'm American. Pound symbol knife if you want to win it. So he was talking about his Kubi, and I have this Kubi right here. Bobby 357. Good to see you here, Bobby. The nimble as a front flipper is very fidgety. And as a Warncliffe, very handsome. Not crazy about the Tonto version, the drop point version, but I really do like the Warncliffe quite a bit. Gary says the Beluga is probably my favorite fidget knife right now. So with the Beluga, by the way, that is also on loan to me right now and by Hero, and I love that. And the Beluga, you can also do that sort of reverse grip finger flick, and I love that. I think that's cool. Steel Ovan, good to have you here. Hey everyone. Hey Steel, before you get comfortable, hit the like button and then put #knife in the comments, and you just might win this Sativian St115 donated to the channel by This Old Sword Blade Reviews. The Boker Arbelito. The Boker Arbelito El Hero is a small EDC fixed blade I can fit in my pocket. It is under 7 inches long. Okay, that's cool. I did not. I was thinking of a much larger Bowie. You should check those out too. Those are nice. Those are knife. Boker does make some awesome knives. I remember when Boker kind of first came into my view because I knew about them when I was a kid. They were having QC issues and people were kind of looking down their nose at Boker, but I've had nothing but great knives from them. We were talking about Kubis. I have a quick turn and burn sort of trip to Blade Show. I cannot get the time off right before that weekend, so I'm flying in Friday night. I'm gonna hang out at the pit Friday night, and then I'm going to go to Blade Show on Saturday and then some of Sunday and fly back Sunday night. And I really would prefer to drive down and take a couple extra days and savor the experience like I did last year, but I cannot. I also am not willing to pack in my baggage any nice knives. And that's not to say that Kubis are not nice knives, but I could easily replace this Kubi flash if it gets pinched by a TSA agent. And if I have any TSA agents listening, I'm not talking about all of you. I'm not talking about you, but I have had it happen. And I've had it happen actually very brazenly right in front of my eyes. One palmed a Victorinox Classic once the Classic was allowed back on planes, according to their own website. He didn't like that I was quoting his own website to him. And he just said, "This is mine." And there was nothing I could do about it. And I got really hot under the collar. And my wife's like, are we still going to England? And I'm like, fuck, yes, let's go. Fuck. And, I just felt like, man, you just anyway. So I am taking this and packing this, and I'm excited. This is a great knife. This Kubi flash for $40. It's D2 steel. It's such great action. It's a nice long blade. It's like 3.8 inches. I dig everything about this, but if it gets taken out of my baggage, it's not the end of the world. I can order another one. So that's what I'm doing. And it feels weird to go to Blade Show without like some really nice knives to show off, but I'm just kind of nervous. Do you think that is warranted or unwarranted? Bobby357 says the nimble as a front flipper is super fidgety. If you place the face of your thumb on the side of the flipper. And just like, where is it? Like kind of like the Vero Engineering flipper, like that. I love that. I'm drawing. I keep finding myself drawing a knife that has that kind of flipper. I love it because it's totally low profile. It works great, and I've sort of traced the historical development of this from way back when with the Boker Quaken flipper mod that people used to do before they came out with 8 billion different iterations of the Boker Quaken. And I'm not bitter. Christoph Wilhelm, good to have you here, sir. The Damned Knives Thai Hades, very cool. With Picaroon Mutineer, that is a cool knife. I saw that on Staso's channel. The Maritac AA Thai, very nice. I like Maritac stuff. Their watches are cool. And the Mindo Sparrow Pry, that sounds cool. I don't know that. It's a little pry bar, but very nice carry there. Bonus fidget points, says James, are given for multiple opening methods. Okay, actually, we'll address this. Like blade hole plus flipper, Koenig Arius, Sharp by Design, Void XL, Monroe Sigil. Okay, so James, this is something I've been thinking about. I feel like, and I don't think this is 100% arbitrary, but I feel like you can set a detent successfully for 2 different methods, but 3 is really pushing it. 3 is either you'll have a jack of all trades, master of none detent, or you'll have one way that it opens really well, one way that it opens marginally well, and one way that's just frustrating that you abandon. What do you think? I have run into that a few times, but not on really, really high-end knives. So what do you think of that? 2, not 3. I'm wondering. CPM, good to have you here, CPM. Koenig Arius, fidget factor, 10 out of 10. Daddy needs a fidget. Daddy needs a Koenig Arius. I mean, that has become obvious. And, well, Father's Day is coming up. So maybe I'll float that. I'll write that on the chalkboard under the menu in the kitchen. Professor EDC says, Bob, Jim. Well, it's good to have you here, Professor EDC, as always. Honorable fellow junkies. Hope everyone is doing excellent. Enjoying this awesome show. Thank you, sir. Been kind of busy working on a few things with Ben of Jack Wolf Knives. Oh, right on. That sounds good, man. I won't tell you what I think it might be, but if it is, that'd be cool. And if not, I'm sure it's still cool. So nicely done. Carrying my sharpshooter. Very nice. And Custom Knife Factory Evo 2. Some jealousy there. Not envy, just jealousy. I really love that Evo. I carried my sharpshooter the other day too, because I was like, man, it's like I totally abandoned the sharpshooter once I got the laid back jack. So I had to, go back and pay homage. Actually, it also came up when I was talking about best hollow ground blades in my collection. And just by dint of the fact that it's a taller blade and fully hollow ground, it was on the list. Redacted, good to see you here, Redacted. I recently got the Kaiser Mini October. Oh, yeah, I know which one that is. And the fidget factor is incredible because of the shape and the position of the flipper. It can be opened by flicking it like a Bic lighter. It's fantastic. That's awesome. That's kind of like what we were just talking about here. It's got Bic lighter. It's got a Bic lighter feel because you can just pull down on it with your thumb. Speaking of Bic lighters, took the girls to a concert a few weeks back. It was really fun. It was AJR. My daughters really like AJR, and they've gotten me to like them just by playing them incessantly. And at the end, this is how old I am. This bummed me out. It didn't bum me out, but I was like, we've gotten soft as a society. Everyone held their phones up instead of lighters, for encore. And I was like, I know I haven't been to a lot of concerts, in the last 20 years, but aren't you supposed to hold up your lighter? And someone I was with, old school guy, who's younger than me, it's like, lighters. He had 2 lighters. He held them up. So there you go. JN, what up, Bob? What up, Jim? What up, y'all? Happy Thunk. Well, happy Thunk to you. I like that. Thunk Thursday. Night Knives. Thunk. K Mason says, Bob, it's all right if you get up for a moment to get the smock. Well, then what will you have to look at? It's not like I have knives. You know what, Kay? You're absolutely right about that. This is unprecedented. All right. You got to check this out. We need some of that music, Jim, that goes when I get up. So this is the smock. This is a chopped down version of the Spyderco smock knife. And this is on loan to me by Hero Sticks. So good suggestion. The Orbit uses the Hawk lock. Okay. The Hawk lock. Not sure if I remember which one that is. They're so innovative. I can't remember which one. So this has what I think that might be GL Hansen and Sons. I think that might be, but maybe not. GL Hansen and Sons style micarta. But look at this. Just incredible. This, of course, uses the old compression lock. Here, let me show you what I'm talking about. So this uses the compression lock, just like the PM2 or the Yojimbo, etc., etc. But instead of using this little tab and pinching the back of the knife like this, which I always thought was a little precarious, you simply press a button on the show side, and it depresses the lock, the compression lock, just to the other side. See that? And then it lets it drop. And man, this thing is so smooth, and I love it chopped down in this version. I don't have the regular version of this, but something about it just always, when I look at it, I'm like, no one's going to carry it. No one's going to hold it way back here where that finger groove is. Obviously, that finger groove is for your second finger, and you're all the way up on it like this. So this is one of those knives where I can see having it small might, is something I would totally dig. Now, it is an absolute razor blade, the way Hero has it sharpened, and it's also hollow ground. So just very, very nice. Great with the flick. It does have a relatively small hole. You can see the difference right there. Great knife. Thanks for the suggestion. You're right. It didn't break me to get up and get it. Okay, let's see. Jonas Iglesias, exclusive production fuse drop on Slice FK tomorrow. Wow, that's cool. That's like many levels of exclusive. That sounds awesome. I need to look. I don't even know what. I'm sorry, Jim. Can you go back for a second? Slice FK. I don't even know what that is. I got to check that out. I'm behind on the time, CPM. Eugene Krabs says, any large folders you would recommend in the 3.75-inch range? Yeah, man. Well, okay. So I was just talking about one. It depends on your price range. Here, I'll show you a couple right off. This Kubi is awesome, right about there. This is the Flash, $40. The off-grid knives, Enforcer, if you like the Warncliffe style, that's about 4 inches, so maybe that's a little bit big. Let's see, the Yojimbo, that's about in that range. Yeah, I mean, I have a bunch of them, and I don't have them out right here with me. This is about in that range. This is more like 3.5. Eugene, send me an email, and I'll send you some of my recommendations, because I have a lot of knives in that wheelhouse, and I can kind of see them. But let me know what kind of price range you're thinking. If you're thinking inexpensively, Kubi has this and a bunch of really great designs. And from what I've experienced between this and the Vagrant, their builds are amazing. So if you like the design, it's probably a good indication that you're going to get a good knife. Kevin Moore says, even in all, feel like a pimp, running a little behind. Oh my God, that's awesome. I like that. I got to remember that. And maybe I need to be careful about where I say something like that, especially in my very sensitive environments around here. Steel Ovan says, it's a fuller for days one. It's the fuller for days one. I don't get it. It's the fuller for days. Oh, are you talking about on the blade for the reverse flick? I'm not sure what you're talking about. Chris says, hello, Grim. That Boker. Oh, yeah. That Boker is nice. Little micarta fixed blade that I thought that I bought at my local Buc-ee's, king of gas stations last year. Oh, very cool. My God. Kevin Moore says, hey, Bob, I got my Wingard Wearables Stingray Tomahawk in. So stinking cool. I don't know if you're here, Kevin, but this was part of my pocket check because I had it on me today sort of accidentally. It was in my backpack, and I discovered it at work, and it felt good having this accidentally, but it felt good to have this at work. I'm glad you like the Stingray. I think it's really fun to swing around, you know? All right, we got 33 entries in the knife giveaway. I think it's, you know what? We're going to give this knife away in a minute and a half. Right on the hour, we will give this knife away. So anyone else who is interested in winning a free knife, this is the robust and quite cool and donated to the channel by the gentleman whose comment is on screen, incidentally, right now. This is the Sativian St115, a big brute of a knife. It would make an excellent car knife or an excellent jeans knife. This is not the knife you carry in your gym shorts. It is, it's got some bulk and some heft, but it is lighter than my XM24. So it is not too heavy. Awesome knife, very sharp. Dave says the Annex has the same deep fuller as the SOCOM. Oh, and broad leaf-shaped blade. Check the Microtech short vid on it by Ray Helms. I will most definitely. But so Reich will be making it. That is cool because I really like this SOCOM Bravo. And Dave has the serrated version, Tonto, which was serrated by Mr. Marfione himself. All right, 15 seconds. We're giving this sucker away. Herm D says, hey, first of all, hey, Herm D, good to have you. Hey, guys, it's been a while. Hope all of you are doing well. I carried my my Steingraber Performance Knives Lamia, and an instant swelling up of envy and bitterness, bitter bile rises up in my chest because that knife should be mine, sir. Very nicely done, by the way, carrying that, flexing with that in your pocket check. That is awesome. I want one of those at some point. I will. Kevin says, man, I'm with you, great folks. don't get no better. Feels good. Feels good. All right, let's do this, shall we? Lonely Stacker 777. Good to see you here. Still carry the CRKT Ritual and Garden Tactical Recon 35 every day. You are good to go. That Ritual is incredible. And well, the Recon 035 is or the Guardian 035 is like that's like your service knife, what you're going to use all day. And then the other one is when you get into battle, that'll be your skirmish weapon. All right, so let's do this. Let's give this away, Jim, shall we? And find out who is going to get this Sativian St115. All right, let her rip. That's hilarious. You know what? Let's do let's do it again. I'm gonna redonate it. All right, let's see. Here we go. All right, Michael Morgan. Michael Morgan is our winner tonight of the Sativian ST115. Thank you, Dave, for your generous donation to the channel for this. And I'm very happy to send this along to Michael Moore. From the looks of it, he likes from the looks of his avatar, he likes the Yojimbo. And so that means he likes large knives. And this is kind of in that area. So on jobs that you don't want to bring the Yojimbo, you're worried about busting that tip or something like that, but want a similarly somewhat flat edge, this thing will do you good. All righty, sir. This will be going out into the mail to you. If you would, please let me know what your address is. You can send me an email you can just go to the website and send me an email that way. Gary says, hashtag knife, I have the Southern Grind Bad Monkey. Oh, I like that. And that will not hold an edge. What was your experience with yours? I had the 14C28 and Bad Monkey, and it was awesome. It was very sharp and it held a great edge. I ended up getting rid of it because the carbon fiber just kind of something about it. And I have to say the choice of steel was a little. I swore that it wouldn't bother me before I bought it, and then I bought it, and I was like, yeah, I spent $200 on 14C28N. How do I feel about that? And it's it was fine steel for me, but still. So I ended up selling it, but it was great. I mean, I used it it was great for cardboard, even though it had a saber grind. It had it cut very well. And so I don't know about yours. I'm sorry to hear that, because it's not an inexpensive knife, man. If you're going to spend that and you're going to buy an expensive knife with inexpensive steel, it's got to have something that makes it like really amazing. Lonely Stacker 777 says, hashtag knife Persians are the sickest blades you can whip out. People either laughing or like, oh my God, you can't have that. That's true. Well, especially that one, though. I mean, that is so dramatically upswept. You could actually turn that knife around and use it in a pecking motion, which actually wouldn't be a bad idea if you had to fight with it. Steel Ovan says, I never fly with nice knives. If you buy anything at the show, just mail it to yourself. I thought about that, but trying to think of when I would have the opportunity to box it and mail it and all of that. I'm sweating that now. So I got to figure that out. Sharp and Stabby says, am I wrong or enjoying fidgeting my Ritter Mark 1 G2? My girlfriend laughs every time I put it in my pocket. I have to open and close it 3 times. No, you're among fellow travelers here when it comes to that kind of thing. I think this is the knife you're talking about, right? And mine is the mini. I had the large. I gave that away to a friend in need. And by the way, on this, I highly recommend just going to Amazon and picking up a clip, a bug out clip. I just never liked the Hogue clips, and I like these little bug out ones, and they fit just fine. So I do recommend that. Caleb Townsend says the HEA Hunter does multi-opening methods very well. That is a beautiful knife, and we were talking about Boker before. Excuse me, Boker does their production version of that knife, and I hear it's quite nice. Logan Sharp, good to have you here, Logan. I just got a Kaiser Cormorant, and it's super fidgety. Yeah, that's a cool looking knife too. Kind of a face only a mother could love, with that big M16, like that old school M16 kind of. That's what it looks like to me. It kind of looks like an old M16. Max the Maker says, my two favorite fidget knives are the Kaiser Swayback and the MKM Isanzo. Very nice. That Swayback is a cool one. And that comes in a button lock and in a frame lock, or in a liner lock, right? Tis GL Hansen, green Westinghouse micarta on that little fella. Tis, man, hero sticks. His class never ceases. Tis a beautiful knife, sir. I really do. This was a cool choice in sending to me, because not something that I probably would have requested, but and also, who did the chop work on this? Let us know. What up, peeps? Says KF Boston. Well, how are you, KF? Let me know what your favorite fidget knife is, or maybe you're like Greg Medford and you think that a man shouldn't fidget. Any man who fidgets is less than a man, or whatever he said on my podcast. I was like, oh, okay. I guess I know where I stand with you. Grim Reaper says, hit that like button. It's free. That's right. It's free. Don't be lazy. It's free. It's like people who don't use their blinker, I will often lecture, at least, screaming to the clouds, that it's right there. All you got to do is move your finger to get to that blinker. That's all you got to do. Blade Stuff says the Hinderer XM18 3.5, great fidget factor and wonderful grip to match. Yeah, you know what? I would agree with that almost. The Hinderer flipper tab is just defiantly sharp. I think at some point they must have realized it, but he dug in his heels. Nope, that's how I designed the knife. I mean, just knock it off just a little bit. Make it just a little more comfortable. I think they may have done that with this Project X knife, but I'm not sure. But other than that, I mean, I cannot disagree with you. I love the XMs very much. Silent Black Disc. That's a cool name. Good to see you here, sir. Howdy. Sorry I'm late, he says. Well, it's quite all right, sir. No one's taking attendance. That's the good thing. You can show up when you want, and you can watch it on replay. Even last week's show, which is now available. It was made private for a short while YouTube poked and prodded to make sure that it was good, and then we went on. Jim won. K Mason says, yeah, well, he won the first one, but then we redonated. What? Says Michael Morgan. No, Michael Morgan indeed won the Sativian ST115. And interestingly enough, well, I mean, it's not that interesting, but Dave gave us another one. Actually, it's got a different handle, and it's in a box of knives that we will be donating some knives in the offing. But he sent another one that has a sort of treatment in the milling of the G10 where it's got faux bolsters. Very cool. Very cool. Sweet, says Michael Morgan. Michael, like I said, we'll get your address. I'll get this in the mail to you. I love my Bad Monkey, says Blade Ogre. Yeah, is that the one with the Bad Monkey is the larger one, right? And then I think it is. Tim Simcoe says the new Hogues use the SIG deep carry clips. Oh, do they? Okay, that's cool. With the little sort of downward facing chevrons that allow you to that are like jimping. Is that what we're talking about? Shane, good to see you here, Shane. I rarely ever fidget, says Shane. Well, that's cool. I can understand that. It's like people who bounce their knees. I don't do that. My brother does that. When I'm nervous, I fidget with my knife. When he's nervous, his knee bounces. People have different ways to expel energy. Some people probably do both. Kevin says, speaking of a Persian, I had the CRKT Ritual in the right pocket. The Meyerchin Gen 2 crew bone and Rough Rider hippo toe. Oh, that's cool. In a leather slip in the left. What's this Meyerchin Gen 2 crew bone? What the hell is that, man? Let me know. Meyer Co. Was that Meyer Co. by accident? Careful with the hinder criticism, Bob, says On the Edge 72. Hey, On the Edge, you're looking at the proud owner of 4. It used to be 5. But, oh, I got you. Yeah. I might get a cease and desist letter. Yeah, you're right. I better watch my P's and Q's. I'm from Ohio. Maybe he'll forgive me. K Mason says, "Are Southern grind knives still in production? Did I hear the company was sold?" Yeah, the company was sold last year, and I can't remember to whom. But I think Case Knives now is having their knives manufactured. Their frame lock or their liner locks. I believe they're having them manufactured by them, but they are not owned by Zach Brown anymore. I don't know. Kevin Moore says, "I got to tell you, I'm loving the fidget factor of the Civivi Chevalier. Flipper, button, fuller. It's a lot of fun." Okay. First of all, I totally get that. A lot of people are loving that knife. A lot of people are also having a hard time pronouncing the name. I'm hearing Cavalier, Chevalier, and stuff like that. I submit that you would say Chevalier because look at it. And it's a French word. Southern grind acquired by Diamondback Firearms. Oh, cool. Thanks, Jim. Diamondback Firearms, people. So what do you think of that? Civivi Chevalier. Is that how you pronounce it? Or is it the Chevalier or whatever people are saying? I always like to try and overpronounce French. I don't know why. I just do. Gary says the XM18 Flipper Delete from DLT is a great fidget knife. Hey, that's a good solution. And the very first XMs were non-flippers. And by the way, I just saw the promo video for the automatic XM that's going to be selling at Blade Show, and it looks cool. It looks sweet. It looks like an XM18 minus the flipper, and it's just, I want to get that. And he's in Ohio, and the whole reason it's being debuted at Blade Show is that on July 1st, you're allowed to. Oh no, that's in Virginia. On July 1st, you can carry a knife. Last year, you can carry a switchblade. Last year, the automatic knife laws in Ohio changed, and that's when he came out with the automatic XM18. I'm very excited for that. I don't know if I'm going to get it, but I think it looks cool. Jay Wilton 76, good to have you here, Jay. I'm just getting here too. Good evening, guys. Well, good evening to you, sir. It's too bad you're just getting here because you missed your opportunity to win this Sativian ST115 or 112. But Michael Morgan won it, and couldn't happen to a nicer guy. It's the ST115. And we're going to be doing more of that because another great guy, Dave, has given a lot of knives to the channel for giveaway. And not all of them are appropriate for the Gentleman Junkie knife giveaway. And others, I just kind of want to spread the wealth a little bit to people who aren't necessarily patrons. So I'm very much looking forward to that. Thank you, Dave. And the knives he sent, each one of them, I'm like, is he, maybe this could find its way. No, I'm giving them away. Fidgeting burns calories. It sure does. It sure does. And it makes for strong fingers. Hey, here's like the original fidget knife, right? The Bally song. They used to call it, when I first started doing martial arts in the 90s, I remember one of my teachers calling it what do you call it? I don't know. She called it the pacifier for martial artists. Like the Lisa Simpson sucks on. Because if you just keep opening it and closing it and doing butterfly knife stuff, you're going to be calm and pacified. Well, that is true. And that has sort of translated into all these other wonderful mechanisms we have for opening our favorite blades. Here's the Cogent, the button lock. Someone before, now I don't remember who, please excuse me, mentioned the Malibu, which is the button lock, sort of perfected button lock flipper. So, or at least from what it would seem. So, lots of cool fidget stuff. What about this? What about this? I mean, that's a cool fidget factor. You got the blade opening and closing. Ketmuk Neshart says, for fidget, I really like pretty much anything from Finch, especially the Holiday. I pulled out my Holiday for that very reason. And Roadrunner. I also really enjoy my Bug Out and Griptilian. Yes, I like the Bug Out. Way smoother action compared to my SOG Terminus XR. I have found the SOG bar lock is on the less expensive models. Sometimes it'll come out of true. It should really, a bar lock should always remain, exactly perpendicular 90 degrees to the rest of the frame. Otherwise, it's going to get janky. And I have that with my SOG Terminus XR. It's a British seafaring knife with a marlin spike. I love a locking marlin spike. To me, I'm surprised that those kind of sailors' knives aren't used more by ruffians and thugs, because that spike locks open. You can just right in someone's forehead, or what the kind of thing a spy, or not a spy, but the kind of thing like a gangster, instead of an ice pick, why wouldn't they use one of those? I think they're cool. I think they're compelling, and I'd like to see your German version. Blade Boy says, I like the Kaiser Cormorant with the PlayStation button scales. Yeah, that's what it looks like. Yeah, you're right about that. Shane says, I can appreciate fidget factor as long as it doesn't take probiotic over edge. Priority. That's good. As long as it doesn't take priority over edge geometry and edge retention or probiotic. Yeah, I know exactly what you mean, Shane. What you're saying is a knife isn't a toy to you. It's a cutting tool. And any sort of fidget pleasure that you're going to glean from that, or that you expect from that, is only once the knife and the cutting part is well in order. Donnie Lizardo, good to see you here, Donnie. What's up, everybody? He says, well, what's up with you, sir? Good to have you with us. Kevin Moore says, Chevalier. You have to use the French pronunciation. It's the same when someone says he's a good boy to a dog. You hear that voice in your head. Yes, he's a good boy. Yes. That's pretty funny, man. My wife will understand that also. Blade stuff. To be honest, I never fidget unless I have a knife in my hand, of course, and to each his own, I guess. Yeah. Yeah. And some things like this can even be fidgety, because they make it so that if your finger is way up here, the tang of the blade you'll always intersect it with your finger, and you can totally one hand all of these axis locks. And the big ones like these 5.5-inch blades are heavy, so they fall easier, and you can fidget with even one of these things. I know a lot of people think that lockbacks aren't fidgety. Like a 110 is not fidgety, because it's got to be a mid back lock to be fidgety. When you're way back here, now this is the 112, but when you're way back here, it's kind of, you can do it, but it's way less fidgety than this. So has anyone here experienced the new Titan lock, or whatever they're calling it? It's not Titan. What is it? It's the new, it's something Greek, Atlas. The Atlas lock. Have you checked out the Atlas lock? It's sort of a sliding. It's a little bit shark lockish, I think. Well, I don't know. What do you think? Has anyone experienced it? I know Jimmy Slash has put up a couple of videos, but nothing so far. Okay, so let me nothing so far in terms of my own experience. Can a fixed blade be fidgety? I doubt it. But something like this, if you practice drawing, and I'm just randomly pulling this out. It doesn't have to be this. It's like anything like this. If you get used to drawing it from the sheath and resheathing it and all that, is that fidget factor, or is that just practicing? I don't know. that might just be practicing. But like I was saying before, not every sort of fidget is that fall shut thing. Remember, you can have this sort of glassy, smooth, oiled glass feel. I still love this knife. Still love this knife. This thing is cool. Take my word for it. All right. So I want to show off a couple of things. Well, it's not showing off. The first thing I want to talk about is a news little piece from this past week. John Graham, the knife maker, passed away this past week. And he is a very famous custom knife maker. And really, his most shining accomplishment is he is known for inventing a blade shape, the Razzle, which he made custom versions of to great success, and then also licensed a number of them to CRKT, and also did his run of mid-techs, and so John Graham, I know, will be very, very missed. He was always on my long list of people to interview. I reached out to him at one point, and just because he's one of those guys. He's an innovator and by all accounts a wonderful person, but I never got to meet him on the show or at Blade Show or anything like that. So my connection wasn't personal, but it's always something when an innovator, someone big in a community that you're in passes away. So I just wanted to, give a moment of respect for John Graham and his passing. So here's to you, John, a guy who made the knife world better, and you will be missed. Next, RJ Martin and Shirogorov partner up for an absolutely infuriatingly awesome project. Infuriatingly because they're selling it by lotto only, which means no, you will never have one of these maroon RJ Martin Shirogorov knives, Bob. Get it out of your mind. Look at the one in the middle. Is that just not absolutely positively stunning? I mean, Shirogorov knives, are just, by all accounts, incredibly built, and you have to be 100% blind not to think RJ Martin's designs are positively gorgeous. I think my wife's most used knife is an RJ Martin, and it's $20 Kershaw. So he either designs and builds these multi-$1,000 masterpieces, or these sort of very hard to get collaborations with Shirogorov, or like a $20 knife with Kershaw. Like, please give us something in between. Oh yeah, I guess that ZT, what was it, the 609? That was him. Kind of cool knife, but different from that RJ Martin look that I really love. Anyway, this thing is cool. Of course, M390 blade steel and multi-row bearings and all of the Shirogorov trappings, but that's with a 3.8-inch blade, so 100% in my wheelhouse with those three sumptuous micartas, but that one in the middle, that maroon micarta, it just gets me. It just made my voice crack. What do you guys think of that? Oh, excuse me. Is that something you're going to get, James? Seems like something that would be up your alley. I gotta stop saying that. It sounds dirty when I say up your alley. So I'm gonna start saying something else. So we're talking about fidgety knives. This little thing, I busted out the Lucha before, that muscle memory building. Yeah, exactly. I brought this thing out before. I brought the Lucha out, but this is that magnetic knife I told you about by Daily Carry Co. This is their mag blade. Made somewhere in China from titanium and M390. And look at that. It is fidgety as hell. Razzle. What did I say? Razzle. I guess I said razzle. Anything a folder can do, a fixed blade does better. Well, except for fold. No, Grim, you'll get no argument from me, but I do not take sides because I love both equally. But when you see something like this, you know that there are no fixed blade knives that are going to do what this does better. I mean, no folders that does what this is designed to do better. I love this thing. Just an excuse to bring out a cool fixed blade knife. Thank you, Grim Reaper. This is the Spartan Blades Harsey Dagger. Just a gorgeous design and build. I mean, everything about, I love Spartan Blades. And I love Bill Harsey designs. So together they made this magic. But yes, you're right. A fixed blade knife is going to be superior in many ways. But folders, especially in the last 20 years, have really, I don't know, they've adopted a spirit all their own, and they have adapted to modern life. You know, we have all these needs. Most of us who live in populated portions of society, we have these strictures that we have to live by. Like, I can't walk around with this on my hip just as a beautiful thing. I can't just wear this and walk around and go to work and just be like, oh no, I like it because it's beautiful. You know, I'm not expecting to get in a knife fight, but if I do, I'm covered. But really, I just carry it around because it's a gorgeous design, beautiful workmanship. And by the way, Chattanooga leather makes the best sheaths. So, you know, you can't just do that where I am. So folding knives really have, you know, come into their own and developed a real true purpose in the age of the knife junkie. Gary says, I have the CRKT Razzle. It's a great design. I just wish it had better materials. Well, maybe, Gary, maybe you can get your hands on one of the titanium frame lock mid-techs I know they came out with. I think Nick Shabazz was a big fan of that knife for a long time. But this thing here, this mag blade, let me show you this real quick. I think I showed it off last week, but I've gotten really good with it. You got the two magnets here and the two magnets here, kind of like a balisong, except it's rotates on a different axis. And the thing is to get used to flipping back and forth with that flat handle. And doing it under this camera, it's not as smooth and well, as smooth as it is when I'm not trying to be performative with it. This thing is really cool. Like I said in my review of it, I was not expecting to get it, and I certainly would not have picked it out. You know, on paper, it's not very interesting to me, but to have it, this thing is awesome. I love it. It is a great little 3-inch Tonto, and if it is indeed M390 blade steel, and I have no reason to doubt that, I guess, it's a great little fixed blade, or not fixed blade. It's a great little folder, just a different format, and you can totally fidget with it. Mag blade is very cool. I might have to snag. Yeah, it is. It is very cool. I think it's a cool design. It's already acquiring some snail trails, which is very pleasing to me, but a fidgety knife for sure, this thing. Grim Reaper, I carry folders too. I just really embrace fixed blades over the last year. So what are your favorites, Grim? Let me know. I mean, I have a lot of fixed blades in front of me right now. Like, I do a lot of carrying of this kind of thing that I can just carry in my waistband, really low profile, and it's there if I need it. Usually have it set up in the waistband on my right hip at about 3 o'clock so that I can be drawn like this defensively quickly. And then if I don't need it defensively, I can just slowly pull it out and use it however. But what kind of fixed blade knives are you into, Grim Reaper? Ketmuk says, I carry fixed blade knives to work every day, but I do work at home. Oh, man, that's lucky. Not lucky, but I mean, that's a good situation. Here, speaking of fixed blades, let me show you something I dug out of my martial arts bag that I totally forgot I had. And it's such a cool knife. Michael Morgan, what I do have to skin. You had to skin an elephant and your option. Oh, what if you had to skin an elephant and your options were the Artisan Sea Snake fixed or an Espada XL folding? It would obviously be the Espada XL folder for sure, or the XXL. K Mason says, Bob, will you be getting another Bastinelli diagnostic? I think you lost yours. I did, most definitely, and I would like to get it. To be honest with you, you know, I rotated back the CRKT Minimalist, and it feels heavy. Like, I've gotten so used to not having that weight, and having the diagnostic. Yeah, I really want to get one. I've been dragging my feet. It's just an extra $100 for something I had, two months ago. So, or a month ago. So I'm dragging my feet on it, but yeah. And who knows, maybe I'll get a custom one because why not spend $200? Okay. This thing I found, and I'm very psyched I found it. I forgot I had it. I got it at one of the New York flea markets where I got a lot of these Filipino things, swords behind me. But this is a Japanese knife, and it's meant to look like, I mean, it's built in the style of another knife that costs a whole lot more than this. But I don't know how else to put it. It's sort of, I've seen it advertised as a gardening knife, but I just like it because I love that handle. The handle is really nice. It's kind of reminds me of an axe, so it flares out a lot down at the bottom. But you also have this really cool and quite stout, slightly hollow ground clip point blade. Just a cool knife and something I forgot I had, like I said. So I love it. It's kind of like finding $5 or $20 or $100 in your pocket. Finding a knife that you forgot you had and kind of rediscovering it. This one is really good for practicing. My Carenza is like shadow boxing with a knife or stick in Kali or Filipino martial arts. And this one is really good for that. This is made by a company called Tomahawk, which leads me to believe that it is a it's not one of the really expensive knives that look a lot like this. Hollywood Tactical just got off work. Want me to show my favorite fidget knives and knife fight? That'd be great, sir. That'd be great. Come on and let's see your favorite fidget knives, and we'll have a little knife fight, because the knife fight tonight is drop shut versus hydraulic action. Silent Black Disc says Cold Steel Mini Tack fixed today. Ooh, very nice. I like the Mini Tack. I like Cold Steel, all of their little fixed blade knives. They have such a nice range, or had. Let's hope they still do. Grim works in an office, so fixed blades are tough to carry at work. So I will carry small fixed blade Bradford Guardians. Those are nice. Azula 2, Spyderco Ronin. I love the Spyderco Ronin. Some examples. The Ronin is cool. The only thing is the sheath is about the same size as Ohio. It's so big. It's got such a big footprint. But it works nicely. And if you can afford the space in the waistband, it's, the retention is great. But I keep meaning to make a new sheath for my Ronin. But what a great fixed blade that is. Very thin and hollow ground, sharp as hell, and a great defensive knife. We're going to have Hollywood Tactical drop in on us for a second. We're in a second. But as we wait, I got a couple of other great fidget knives. Look at this one. This being a front flipper from... just go to theknifejunkie.com/join Hollywood Tactical. That's it. And then I'll see you in a minute. This is the Arcona Nettle, designed by Ivan Braganets, from Russia with Lavon. From Russia with Lavon knife. Not sure who made it. No doubt a Chinese company, but they did an awesome job. I say no doubt. I do have doubt. I'm not exactly sure, but I'm pretty sure a lot of the non-custom Russian folders are made in China, just like everything else, just like ours. Very cool, very fidgety, awesome setup with the front flipper there, and just a great user and cutter. This thing is very, very fidgety and thin, high height hollow ground, K110 blade steel. Very cool knife. Very awesome knife. Cannot use that hole for anything, though, except to see through. Mr. Beyond the Beard, good to see you, Mr. Beyond the Beard. The Boker Burnley Barlow, has been finding a lot of pocket time for me lately as a small fixed blade. Oh, yes. Okay, I remember that one came out like last year, I think. Yeah, I remember talking about that. I remember showing that on the show. How do you like that? Is that obviously you're carrying it a lot, so you like it? But yeah, I remember when that came out. Button lock can make for a nice fidget action. Have an M9 custom by Rod Olson with a great button plunge lock action. Yeah, I agree. It can be very, very pleasing. This is the only button lock non-automatic that I have these days. The Civivi, and this one does suffer a little bit of I don't know if you heard that first sound, but when you use the flipper, it sticks a little. There's a little bit of lock stick. If you just kind of whip it out, I don't know. It's like you deploy it any other way, and it doesn't really seem to have that. But anyway, yeah, I could see how button locks can become an addictive action for a knife junkie. Oh, excuse me. Here's another action that I really like. This is the CJRB Scoria that I traded for a few weeks back with Chris, and man, I love this thing. This has really nice action to slow roll without having to overcome too much of a detent, but it's still enough to flip really well and really nicely. So I dig this one. Let's see. Hey, Sean, how's it going? Sean Low Key, good to have you with us, sir. What were you carrying today? Always interesting to find out. So I'm not sure if Hollywood Tactical is going to join us. He might be having technical difficulties. But yeah, you just go to theknifejunkie.com/join. Anything else? Any other suggestions for? I think I may have covered it.
But yeah, you just go to theknifejunkie.com.
What's up, man? How you doing?
Hey, good. So I was gonna say, well, let's wait for the knife fight. For the hydraulic thing. I look forward to that. But I do want to put in a little bit of a monkey wrench into the idea of fidget. So certainly for me, my favorite fidget knives are button locks for sure. Next, compression locks, right? So here are all my compression locks from Spyderco. And then I have up here all my button locks, right? Mostly budget. Of course, I have the Malibu and the Mordax, which are fidget kings. But this is like made by M-Tech, or it is an M-Tech, okay? It's what, sub $10 button lock? Yeah, it's kind of a weak detent. It's not nothing great, but it's fidgety. And you don't have to pay $200 plus for a good fidgety button lock, And then I also, this, the shark lock is, not only is it, I keep saying this, the best thing to happen to folding knives since the Buck 110, right? With this, when they put that extra pin in there, like they do for the triad lock, makes the thing so strong yet fidgety, So this is astounding.
And the great thing about the shark lock that I wasn't expecting is that the shark lock itself, you have to work very hard to make that get in the way. Like there's no grip where the shark lock gets in the way. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And when I first saw it, I was like, uh-oh, that's going to be a problem. But
part of it is because you don't just slide it back. You have to slide it back and slightly up at the very end.
Yeah.
And so even if you just slide it back a little bit, it's still not going to release. It loosens it, but you have to fully pull up on it. So it's down and up.
Right.
So that adds the second thing. So I showed you this. This is the Gavin Hawk, right? The GNG Hawk design. This is the Buck. I forgot. What is this called?
Is that the Huntsman or something like that?
I don't know why I'm blanking. But this is the back when SK Blades was doing their customized. This was the orange variant. They had the silver variant. Buck still makes this, I believe, but unfortunately, you can't get these colorways anymore.
Oh, okay.
I'm blanking on, but this is a strap lock. CRKT has kind of like a version of something like this with the Offbeat and the Offbeat 2. And then I want to mention CJRB when they came out with the recoil lock.
Oh
This is the
God.
Krag, right?
Mhm.
There's the kicker as well. This is what, a 40 buck knife, right? I think I got it on sale for even less. I mean, this
Marksman. Thank you, Chris.
Marksman, that's it, the Buck Marksman. They took the axis lock and put it on top so that you can actually do it with one hand. The majority of people who complain that they broke a spring in their axis lock were using one finger to do it.
Yeah, I could see that.
And so they break one
lock,
spring, and yeah.
This lock is a disaster. At least the kicker is a disaster.
Oh, what is a disaster? Oh, you don't like the recoil lock?
No, I don't.
Why? Because it's cheap and it kind of rattles.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
I get it.
And it's an answer to it's a solution to a problem that didn't exist.
Well, like I said, it is because to me it is because it allows you to do it with one finger. See? Instead of you can also do that with two fingers like the axis lock, but it allows you to do it with just one finger. So it is an improvement.
But what do you gain? You gain the ability to do it with one finger, but what you also gain is an ugly, rattling eyesore and thumb sore, at least on the kicker. And I like the look of this one better.
I agree. The kicker is not so great. The reason I mentioned the Krag is because it's a much heavier blade, and as you can see, it just shuts real easy. So it's a dramatic improvement. I agree. I'm not wild about the kicker, but the Krag, I definitely recommend the recoil lock. And we're talking about fidget factor, right?
Yes.
We're not talking about aesthetics or even quality for that matter, because you're right. It feels like die cast. It feels like really cheap die cast.
Yes, you're right. Yes.
Yeah. It feels like my Hot Wheels cars from when I was a kid. and as I don't know if you guys can hear that, but you can hear that rattle. So, but again, for me, I have hundreds of knives, right? If I need a strong, I'll use a cold steel. But 99% of what I do with my knives is just sit around and fidget with them.
Fidget.
Right?
Sean,
Go ahead.
Oh, I was just going to say, Sean, this is kind of funny. Sean was saying when I was driving around earlier today, I'd give my knife a half flip, hit the flipper, bounce off the spine of the steering wheel. And I did that about 1,000 times. So it was like fidgeting, bouncing it back in without it fully locking open.
Yeah, I do weird stuff like where I'll bounce it off the thing and I get bored with just flipping it. So I'll do different kinds of flips.
Yeah.
It's
and
really
different
weird.
Kinds of closes, like
so some of the budget flippers. You've got the so as you can see, I added the quick stud. This is for the Buck 110 originally, but you can add it to knives that could use a thumb stud. So this dramatically increases its fidget factor, right? Because you could deploy it that way. Same thing with the Kaiser. This is the White Mountain Knives exclusive brown micarta 154 cm. Same price as the regular Kaiser, and again, button lock, drop shutty, and the Fidget King is the Kaiser, the ugly Kaiser Cormorant, probably the ugliest knife.
Yeah,
probably even uglier than Spyderco. This has to be the most. I mean, not only is it ugly enough, then they got to put these stupid looking X's on there. I mean, they really knocked it out of the park in terms of shit aesthetics. Yet,
it's fugly.
Ironically, it's a fidget god. I mean, front flip. You can Spidey soul drop it. It has every kind of deployment you can imagine. So these things are fidget kings. I have every version.
Let me ask you this question here.
Go ahead.
Because I was bringing this up before. Sometimes it seems like, at least with a liner lock or a frame lock, that if you have more than two ways of opening it, there's a compromise in the detent for at least one of those methods of opening. But wait, hang on. But it seems like the Cormorant with a button lock, if you dial it in, you could have all three work as well.
Possibly. I think it's a bit weak.
Okay.
I think it is a bit weak. It has everything, and I agree with you. I was thinking the same thing last night or a couple nights ago, that I think it's a bit weak now. button locks don't exactly have a detent, but we're talking about the same thing. You know, that that resistance to open, right? And it's a bit light. I would say out of the budgets, the best on that is the Civivi Conspirator, because I just got the Altus, and it's just it's too light, I think.
How does it compare to the Cogent? That's the only Civivi button lock.
I still need to get the Cogent. I think the Conspirator is closer to the Cogent because the Cogent's bigger. The Altus is very small. As you can see, it's a very short blade.
Yeah. Is that the one that that you can only get at like Mojave Outdoors or something?
I got this one at White Mountain Knives, so I'm not sure. I don't think so. Is it?
All right. That's not an exclusive. I think they have an exclusive model over.
I think this might be an exclusive because it's the micarta one.
Oh,
or no. This is the micarta in Damascus. I think this is the one that's widely available. Or no, wait, this is brand new, I think. I'm sorry. I think it is new. Sorry.
That's all right.
And so some other fidget things. So another thing that I discovered you can fidget with is knives with holes in them.
Yeah.
And this is this terrible Gerber.
Yeah.
It's called the Remix. Okay. It's a liner lock. There's no drop shutty whatsoever. But I swear to God, this is addicting too. You just sit here and spin it. I know it's ridiculous, but I've started to collect knives with holes that you could just sit here. Because I'm super ADD. I'm a total spaz. I got to just sit there and fidget with stuff all day long. Oh, you've got
what about karambits or you know,
same
this one
thing.
is I shouldn't be flipping this around at this hour.
Yes, same thing, but I like the hole in the center. I like these in the center because the karambits are scary when you spin them because you've got the whole blade spinning.
Yeah,
and if it flies out, it's kind of scary.
Yeah,
so
actually, I should do it with
the ones in the middle. So like, you know, something like this. And there, I actually find them useful as well. When you've got that center, it just handles. It allows you to get point center. It gives you so much control.
What is that?
I really like having knife. I have just a whole bunch of these knives with the center. So the Remix originally comes from this. I don't know if you guys. This is a vintage. This is a Gerber Chameleon, I think. I can't remember the designer's name. But this is their bolt action, right? But it's not really an axis lock, but probably works the same way. They just didn't have very good action.
Right.
That, you know, so them and you know, Cold Steel had their axis style lock too. I don't know why they didn't.
Oh, that was on the first. That was on the first
Recon.
Recons, yeah.
I have the Recon. Yeah, I'll show you. But this is back when they were OS 8.
Yeah.
So.
Well, they remained OS 8 for a while in the new design too.
Cold Steel was OS 8 for a while.
Yeah.
I mean, back before we started becoming obsessed with steels, and they did a good heat treat. So, you know, but again, it's loose, but again, it's a vintage, so maybe the spring just kind of loosened up over time.
That's a nice one to have. What about a knife rolling?
I don't know what that means.
Wait, what about knife rolling? I don't know how to do it.
So,
what's knife rolling? Is that when people flip it around?
This is the Browning Easy Money. This is sort of an archaic design. I think, again, it was one of the early models to do one-handed opening. So you've got this lever here, and then you spin the whole thing around, and then it locks into place. So some people can fidget with this. It takes practice. I haven't really fidgeted with enough to make it feel like it's truly a fidget. But again, this is another idea of fidgeting, you know, and again, some people do get pretty adept at this mechanism. But this was an early attempt at one-handed.
You carry it enough.
Back when this whole switchblade thing happened. Go ahead.
Carry it enough. Well, you carry it enough, and you're going to get better at it.
Right.
Hey, Jim, can you go back to the Brendan had a comment about the Brandon Thrasher. Thanks for commenting. Good to see you here. He says, I feel like the EMP EDC Nimble is very good, has a very good detent for all deployments. And that's another 3 deployment or more. I think 3 deployments. Got a front flipper that regular flipper nestled in there, and then a hole.
And then you've shown this before. I've shown you this on your show before as well. This is the Marin gravity knife. So, and you were asking if it's like the cold steel.
I remember
the
that.
triple threat.
Yeah.
The key difference is the blade edge is on this side. On the cold steel, it's on this side. So you could never keep an edge because as you close it, it was constantly hitting the edge.
Yeah.
So
Why didn't they just put a pin there? And that's all you got to do.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, just put a pin in there so it doesn't whack the inside of the handle.
No, it's when you're coming back up. I think it's what is as it was coming back up. The triple threat, I think, would glide like that. And that's what was killing the edge. It would get knocked about like this. Whereas this is the spine. So he improved on that. I don't know if he was basing it off that or not. But again, these are fidgety. I don't have the Riyadh Exo. I don't know. I fidgeted with that at Blade Show West, and that easily is the most fidgety knife ever. I would say.
Sean Loki was. Can you put his comment back up, Jim? It looks like rolling a coin in your knuckles. Yeah.
Right. So
that's a lot of practice, man.
And you can get really good at this. There's a guy on YouTube, a British guy, who took it apart and machined it down so that he took some of the friction off of it. Because there's a bit of to keep it locked in place, if you can see, there's a bit of friction there. You can see the rubbing. He oh, wait, here you go. Sorry.
There we go.
See that friction point
Yeah.
there?
Uh-huh.
So that's what keeps it locked into place. But he went ahead and buffered that down ever so, a couple microns so that it really just comes flying out. Pretty scary.
That's cool.
But yeah, I mean, you can modify these things to be even more fidget friendly. So there's that. And then it gets increasingly more ridiculous. So lastly, this is an actual fidget spinner.
Oh yeah, I remember
right?
this.
These things are really dorky. I get it. But, it's also a knife. So
it's a pretty good looking knife.
Yeah. So, I mean, if you literally need a fidget spinner, if you're like super hyperactive and you just have to fidget spin, then you can literally get a fidget spinner knife, And then my most recent fidget spinner or fidgety knife is this broken, like plastic knife. So it's completely broken. But I find it.
Oh man!
I mean,
it's bad,
dangerous,
brother.
It's ludicrous, but this is fidget. I'm just trying to expand the notion of fidget. Like we kind of combine fidget with quality, but you could also fidget with something completely ludicrous and dangerous.
Oh yeah, I mean you could pick up a piece of string and entertain yourself all day with
that.
Rock
around it, yeah. Rock around it,
dude.
So.
All right,
anyway.
Let's get to this knife fight, man. Let's do this. So it's drop shut action versus hydraulic action. Which one would you like to take?
Drop shut, if that's okay.
Sure. And because you're taking drop shut, you get to go first.
Fine.
And you get 1 minute and 15 seconds. Starting now.
Okay, so the whole point of Fidget Factor is that you can do something without thinking about it. You're doing a million other things. You're watching TV, you're talking, you're on the phone, and you're fidgeting around. You don't want to think about it. You just want it to spin and spin and spin and move without breaking your concentration. So, all of these, even these budget ones, they drop shut, right? I have this Gonzo here for less than $20. Where'd it go? It's here anyway. But I mean, that thing just drops shut. Bam, just like that. The CJRB, this thing's a budget. It just drops shut. I have a Purvis and a Purvis blade custom, and it's got that hydraulic action, and I get it. It's smooth, it's controlled. It's I like the idea of hydraulic because it slowly, but the problem is it's still a frame lock. And in my opinion of fidget factor, liner locks and frame locks, it's always 2 steps. You got to move your hand out of the way. It doesn't just come dropping down like that. So to me, fidget is part of, sometimes I do when I'm laying around, is I go like that, and then I go like that, and then I go like that, and I go like that. It's completely mindless, right?
Okay.
Oh, did I lose it? And
yeah.
Okay, so my final point. I think the people who say that they like the hydraulic is just an excuse because they blew thousands of dollars on a titanium frame lock that is not nearly as fun as budget little Chinese knives, and they had to make up a concept that says that it's still fidgety. That's my
okay. All right. Okay. Well, I am one of those suckers, one of those fools who likes the hydraulic action, and I get it. I get it. There's something very gratifying about releasing the lock on a folding knife and then not having to do anything else. You just let the blade shut itself. I mean, that's how we do things these days. We go for the easiest, absolute easiest thing we can go for, even when it comes to closing our folding knives. I understand the joy of that, but there is a certain mindlessness to it that I find, frankly, dangerous and irresponsible in the format. You know, these are knives; these are sharp things. They should not be flopping around uncontrollably on these very well-oiled bearings. They should be under control at every moment of use, whether it's locked open solidly without any play, whether it's smoothly and cleanly opening up, or whether it's smoothly coming back into the handle. There should always be control involved when it comes to blades. And you don't get that from the drop shot. You get that from the hydraulic action.
What about ballad songs then?
Ballet songs are something different. We were talking about
definitely not in control.
Oh yes, it is. It is in control.
You're right. I guess in a way.
Yeah. But in any case, I like them both. I fight with my. Oh, I'm sorry. I fidget with my 0562 tie. Amazing acoustics. That's so funny, Michael. Yeah, it's true. The way sound affects the experience. For sure. So we're going to get out of here in about 2 minutes. Hollywood Tactical. Okay. Let me know what you're excited about coming up this summer in terms of knives that do you know of anything that's coming out there?
But here's another fidget king. The Silver Axe.
Yep.
The Spyderco Silver Axe with the compression lock. People didn't like that
combination
tab, but I already have the muscle memory of keeping my finger backwards on the compression lock, so it never was a problem for fidgeting. For dropping shut. And so, yeah, I mean, and what am I looking forward in the summer? I'm not sure. Is there something coming up?
Well, no, I don't know. I'm going to Blade Show next week, and I was wondering what I'm going to see.
I'm excited about. I had been complaining for a long time. Why aren't there more button locks? And now you've got CJRB. Yep. They're putting their foot in it. Civivi is coming out with several.
It's
Kaiser.
Like the year of the button lock.
This is I think it should have been already. Hopefully this is the wave of the future that we're going to see more and more button locks. I get why people aren't doing it. There's a lot of reasons why, because of the way it's made, because of the people feel nervous about buttons. It's reminiscent of switchblades, etc. There's so many reasons why makers shy away from button locks, but I think we finally reached that point where, okay, I think we're going to start seeing more button locks. And that's good for me because at this point, I'm pretty much only getting button locks, you know?
Well, you've whet my appetite for more. I definitely want to get my hands on some more. This Cogent has been cool, but I wouldn't mind some of the others. Yeah, and I agree, Sean. OTFs make great fidget knives. All right, Hollywood, thank you so much for coming on, man. It's always a pleasure. Next knife fight, you're welcome to come join me again. You make some good points. All right, everybody, make sure you check in episode 320. We got Brian Kim of Transparent Knives. It's a great show. All right, everybody. For Jim working his magic behind the switcher, I am Bob DeMarco saying until next time, don't take dull for an answer.